Hello, I hope all of you guys are doing good. Our topic here to discuss for today is what is the meaning of life without living, and we will go in detail in a little bit while. Let me introduce you my teammates. So here we have a Corny. He's gonna tell you guys about like what's without living, biological life without living, and here Nayod is gonna explain a little bit about like without what is biological life means generally, and Michael Wagner is gonna explain a little bit about like connecting all those. How is it gonna look like in Rick and Morty show? And Meron is gonna discuss a little bit about like the general point of view. So I'm gonna go ahead and start a little bit on this. As you can see in this picture, here's a philosophy, religion, science, and art. We human beings see things in different perspectives. Some may believe in religion, some may believe in philosophy. So generally, we people have a lot of thoughts and everything. We have to be together anyhow. So in the show, as you guys already seen, I'm assuming that you guys have seen at least one episode of like Rick and Morty. In the shows, it's gonna explain about like how is it gonna be like life without living it specifically. So I'm gonna have to transfer this to Nayod. So it's gonna talk a little. Michael is gonna talk a little bit in detail.
So I'm going to be talking about the messages behind Rick and Morty. So we go to the next slide. We're going to be talking about what the meaning of life is. Show of hands. How many of you have ever wondered why you're here? Should be all of you. So what if I told you, like everyone has a different perspective of life. What if I told you that the meaning of life is actually what you make it to be? So no matter what anybody tells you what your life is, no matter what book or person has told you, the meaning of life is actually what your drive is, what you want it to be. So we go to the next slide. I have a little riddle for all of you guys. It says, I am only there to help you learn. I am life, death, age, or anything you can imagine. I'm inside your past, I'm inside your head. You may or may not share me. Riddle me this. What is it? Anybody have an idea? Besides Rick?
Thoughts?
You're the first one to get it. Okay, so it basically is telling you that it's saying your mind, your perspective. So this is literally explaining what the previous slide was talking about how life is based off of what you need it to be, what you want it to be. So I am life. So in this phase, you're talking about what part of life you want it to be. What is your destiny? What do you want to accomplish in your life? At this point, you pretty much accomplish that like a Meeks. Once they've completed their life journey, becomes death. And then after that is the age, how long it took you to get there. And last is, or any alternative thing you can imagine. And that basically is any alternative option to what you want your life to be. So, on the next slide, I have a video. The question is, what is important in your life? And the author says, the knowledge that nothing matters gets you nowhere. But if you zoom in on one's life, you see all the things that matter.
Now, for most people, life means their job. Life means the new house they're building. Life means the car they bought. Life means their wife, their husband, their children. No. Life means what's throbbing here. Not even your body, not your mind, not your thought, not your emotion. What is right now throbbing here? This is life. Big.
So, as you can see what he's talking about here, the most important thing in your life is not the things around you, it's what you are, who you are inside. You create your own destiny, you create your own journey. So you yourself is what's important. That's the important thing in your life. So the next slide. The author says, one last thing, accepting that every place is the center of the universe, every moment is the moment, and everything is the meaning of life. Who can understand what that means? Any hands? No one? Okay, so that basically translates to this over here. Everything has a meaning if only we could read it. So if you look around you, everything has a purpose, everything has a meaning, everything has a reason. If it didn't have a meaning or purpose, it wouldn't exist. So let's start off with a simple example. What do anteaters do?
Eat ants.
Exactly. Their purpose, their reason, their existence, they eat ants. Just like the robot, its existence was to
Pass the butter.
Exactly. So, everything has a meaning if only we could read it. Everything has a meaning and a purpose, just like us. And with that, we're going to go off with more of an introduction of what is biological life.
Thank you. Biological life is what separates what's living from what's deceased and what's inanimate. So, something that's dead or a rock isn't living. If you look at biologists from all over, it's actually widely debated what the true definition of what living is. You could make the case that a mule is living, correct? But a mule can't reproduce. And the most common description for what living is can it reproduce, can it grow, can it metabolize, and things like that. And here I give an example of Daniel Koshland. He has 7 pillars listed. And if you read those, it almost has nothing to do with the most widely agreed upon. So depending on which biologist you actually were to go to, you could have a wide range of answers on what life truly means. And I think Rick and Morty does a great job of changing that every single time. Next slide, please. So Rick and Morty is a great TV show because oftentimes when you watch a great TV show, it proposes you with a question that has not one true answer to. It gives you an answer that's a double-edged sword. Rick and Morty, it's really good about challenging the world as we know it. It gives you situations that are reverse to what we're accustomed to, such as those Meeseeks that die right after they complete their purpose. That's not something we're accustomed to. We don't see that in everyday life. So upon watching Rick and Morty, as a viewer, you're going to be proposed with the question, what will you do when you know the true meaning of life? There's 2 main ways you can go about this. When you find out what your true meaning of life is, you can either sulk, be sad and depressed, and realize that life isn't what you expected it to be, or you can go out and look for amazing opportunities and have fun and make the most of it because you know your time on this life is limited. And you see that in episode 5 of season 1 between Rick and Morty. At the start of the episode, if you can recall, Rick was the one that wanted to stay back and not want an adventure, but Morty was ready to challenge and show him that, hey, we can go out with me as the leader and go have a good time. And then on the flip side, at the end of the episode, they do a full 360, and while Rick is gambling at the world with the giants, he wanted to stay, he was having a good time, but Morty has that strange encounter in the restroom with the king of that land, and when he comes back out, he's ready to leave, and he doesn't want to be there anymore. So you can see that they both experience the have fun and live life to the fullest angle, and then they both have that point in time where they didn't think that life was as fun, and they just wanted to kind of sit back and not do anything with it. So you see that from these 2 characters, and upon watching that, that's what the authors want you to take away from watching this show. So this was only the initial part of the question. I'm going to transition it into the second half of the question.
All right. And this goes into what is the meaning of life without living. So we're going to go by breaking it down. What is living? So for us humans, it's creating a lifestyle or creating just a simple type of living. And then going by the quote by Robert Barnier, the purpose of living is living of a purpose. So finding a purpose is what living is. And then the meaning of life, finding a purpose in oneself. We can see this countless times in Rick and Morty where Rick takes into an example, even though he is like going on all these adventures, going on risking his life for some purpose. Some people tend not to see that deep down inside his real purpose is spending time with Morty, with his family and his friends. That's his real purpose in living. That's why what drives him, so he can create a path for his family to be the best that they can be. You can also see this in an absurdism. If you can see it in the Butter episode, where he doesn't have family around him, he just has a robot. He seems to like be sad and lose meaning in some senses. And when he's around his family, he finds his own purpose again, and finds a reason to keep going and doing what he's doing and creating his own path for his family. And then We can see this in nihilism. If you don't have a reason, you can't create a reason, then what's the point of you being there? That goes back to also absurdism, of which the universe depicts why you're here, and why the universe thinks you're here. You have no reason to be here, and then that takes you back to also another way of thinking is I think Kamo said this, where he was pushing a boulder up a hill, and it just kept rolling down over and over and over again, just like how the robot gave like butter around and everything. They always had just one purpose, but that was its purpose to living and keeping going. All right, and then pass this on to Vero for some more examples on our board.
Okay, what's the meaning of life with Rick and Morty? And let's compare this one with the Bible philosophy and the show philosophy. Okay, why are you guys here? Do you guys know the meaning of life? Why are we here? Anyone?
Pass the butter.
Okay, that's good. But okay,
Rose sent to receive an internship.
that's true. That's for real life. But the purpose in the show is different. We can check like the message. The purpose is just doing that, helping Rick's family, or helping some like Summers be popular. They're doing that task, and then helping for playing the golf. He didn't do that play, but they want to finish the purpose, the one they there, but they didn't do that task, and then they like blaming each other. Who bring you here? He bring me. Like they blaming each other. If the purpose for the philosophy one is different from the real life. After like there was a life after this on the philosophy, we can see like I think on the season 3, someone asked him to kill him, Rick, and he said, why am I killing you? He said, I want to try after this the life, and then let's compare this one with the Bible life, everything. The purpose we hear in Bible, like building friendship with the God, that's the only purpose if you compare the science and the Bible. That's the thing. And the other one on the show, nothing means anything. The planet is dying, the sun is exploding, the universe is cold. That's kind of similar with the Bible meaning too. But nothing means anything, I don't believe that. Anyone believe that? I don't, because why are we here? If there is nothing, why are we studying? Why are we saving? That's meaningless. So if you compare this one with the real life, sometimes the philosophy, I believe like every single person philosophy is true, but I don't believe that way. So let's conclude, you guys know everything, the meaning of life and the biological thing. So let's conclude everything together.
Okay, before I take some specific questions, I want to emphasize something. So it's obvious that we all have our own thinking, our own perspective, our own goals towards coming to life. So as you guys seen in the Rick and Morty show, Morty was saying, what's my purpose? Why am I here? Why am I living? And then he said, let's go and watch TV. So what I'm saying is, whatever like we're doing in this world, however like you think your life is meaningless, don't take that. At least try to have fun while you're living here. Go to adventures like Rick and Morty did. Have fun. That's, I think personally, that's my goal. Life of a goal. So we are open to take some questions from you guys. Boss, I can see you.
Yeah, I really like your presentation, especially the way you brought Sadhguru in the video. That guy, the guy with the beard, I told you last time, he is an amazing yogi from India, and the perspective that he has on life, especially the way he analyzed the inner the inner value for like sorting out the importance of life. But my question is, you talked a lot about purpose, no? And I have seen many people like Zuckerberg talking about sense of purpose. So is it something static? Is it something that you stay with it? Like, if I find my sense of purpose now, am I gonna change it after 5 years, or am I gonna continue having that sense of purpose? Like, how do you see the sense of purpose over decades, over years of time? You at 20 years, and you at 40 years old, and you're at the middle of marriage or something like that. Are you gonna have a common sense of purpose that exists with you all lifetime, or how do you see the sense of purpose? Is it static or is it dynamic? How do you see your philosophy?
All right, as a group leader, I can give a chance for my classmates.
I can go.
Go ahead.
Of course, your sense of purpose will always change no matter what situation. Even by the second, your sense of purpose will change. Like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom. Oh, I need to go check this text. Oh, why is my phone buzzing? Things like that. You'll always find a sense of purpose, unless you completely fall into like a deficit of like mental mind state and you believe in nothing, and like you let the universe decide that for you. You're the one who decides your own purpose, no matter like what situation, no matter even if you have a decision making that purpose. Like your mental will create that purpose throughout time, no matter what.
So it changes over time.
Yeah, of course. It's never static. It's always changing.
I can see Dale.
So going back to like the afterlife, when Rick says, kill me because I want to experience what happens after this, when you guys were saying the universe is cooling, the sun's going out, the earth is dying, how do you answer the question, what happens after that? How do you answer the question, is there an afterlife for all of life? And what does that look like?
I think I mentioned that one. It's depend on, are you like philosophy, like on the religion stuff or in science stuff? Both is like, it's different. I think on science, there is no this, because always like, there is something living inside of your body. So if you like believe that there is no this, but in religion, there is a this. So after like some years, you're gonna back to your life, I think. Yeah.
Question here.
So the video you guys played, Michael, you kind of explained out where the guy said, like the purpose of like caring or whatever it is within yourself. He said, I don't know if I misheard you explanation, but what I heard was like him saying not family, not life, not this. What is in the moment, in the moment, what you feel within the moment right now, what I'm feeling right now. Maybe I heard you different. I don't know if you can give a bit explanation of that.
So what he explained in the video was, before anything else can have purpose, basically you have to give yourself a purpose. So you have to give yourself a purpose in order to start realizing everything else around you has meaning. Because if you give up on yourself, then everything else around you is meaningless.
And I want to add one more thing on that, like just to conclude, like when the video says living the moment, whatever we think like we will have in the future, like we always have this mindset, like if I work hard, if I do something towards something, I will be better, I will be having a good life. But like we don't recognize that we should be living this moment too. So life, what exactly means is not the final destination, the path that we're talking. We have to make sure that we should be enjoying it. We have to give it a purpose. That's how it is. So with all this, any other questions from you guys? All right, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.